Screw cap or cork? The debate continues. Angry French winemakers. Yet another top 100 wine list. This one's a little unusual. And can you tell where a wine is from by tasting it? Let's talk terroir. All that and more on this episode of This Week Uncorked. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 23 of This Week Uncorked for Monday, December 23rd. Christmas is almost here, 2024. I'm Brett Martin from Cork and Journey, your one-stop shop for all Corkage Fees, wine reviews, restaurant reviews, and more. And with that, let's get into this week's wine news. So Forbes has got a nice article about screw caps versus corks and the psychology of the entire thing and which one's better. And, really as if someone gave you a bottle of wine and had a screw cap on it, would you like, oh man, they got me a cheap bottle of wine? Well, the fact of the matter is this debate's been going on for quite a while, kind of since the screw cap came out. They've run some really interesting studies down in Australia around screw caps and other places. And at the end of the day, a lot of people will tell you that the screw cap is actually a better seal. People talk about micro-oxygenation. I took my WSET 3 level 3 course from a master sommelier, Peter Neptune, and he was a screw cap fan. He said micro-oxygenation is bull. You don't want that. You want to just let the wine age in the bottle. So he was a fan of screw cap. So anyway, it's a nice article that kind of goes into the whole perception. I mean, there is something about taking that cork out and using a corkscrew, and there's a little romance to the entire thing. If you want to know more about it, though, there is a great book. I think we've talked about it before. To Cork or Not to Cork, and it's by George M. Tabor. He's the guy that wrote A Judgment in Paris, all about the 1976 Paris tasting with French and California wines. Anyway, this goes through the science of it. It goes into detail. It talks about wines getting corked, which is a bad thing. Anyway, great book, nice read. It seems like it might be boring, like you're reading a technical manual, but you're not. It kind of reads like a little novel, taking you through the various stories. And anyway, if you want to learn more about that, you can read the book. If you're just kind of quasi-interested, check out the article over on Forbes. And moving on, oh man, this keeps going on in France. I think we've talked about it on some previous shows, but we've talked about the fact there are too many grapes. They're ripping out vineyards. Wine sales are dropping and they're down in France. And now you have this situation where Vandals are starting to target various estates. They've actually stopped trucks coming in with some cheap, I think, Spanish wine it was. And it's kind of getting out of control. So some angry French winemakers, basically, they're called the VAC, the Comité d'Action Viticole. They're basically smashed a bunch of bottles of Côtes du Rhône wine outside some Lidl stores in the Rhone Valley. They were upset because it was being sold for $1.69 a bottle, and they're saying that the supermarkets are destroying viticulture. Following week, they blocked a motorway near Spain that had lorries with Spanish wine, and they emptied the tanks on the road. In this case, they kind of went in and they, did some burning on this estate. But, decanters covering it. Basically, everybody is covering this. But you have people that are angry. They're angry with cheap wines coming in. They're angry with the fact that they're not making any money making and selling their wines. At least a lot of the small producers are having a very, very, very hard time. So things are heating up over in France. And with that, let's get to our plug of the week. We've been talking a lot about Rex Pickett, and we've been promoting his Sideways book, and you can still use the code CORK10 to get 10% off over at rexpickettbooks.com. But this week, we want to talk about something new, SOMM TV. SOMM TV is the brainchild of Jason Wise. He's the guy that did the SOMM movies. So if you ever saw the movie SOMM, with SOMM Into the Bottle and SOMM 3 and SOMM The Cup of Salvation. He's done 4 different SOMM movies. He has an entire TV application, if you will, an entire little network called SOMM TV, which is, if you're a wine enthusiast, you'd really, really need to check it out. There will be a link in the description and the show notes here on the YouTube channel. You'll have a link, and that'll get you 50% off your first year on your monthly subscription. So it's only $59 a year anyway, I think. So this kind of drops it down to like, I think with the monthly year, maybe it's costing you $35-36 for the whole year. Really cheap. Well worth it. There's over 400 hours of original content. They've got a show. They had a Sparkless show, which is kind of a reality show where people are cooking and tasting champagne. They've got travel logs for all the various regions that are out there. They've got movies. They've got one of my favorite things is called Drink a Bottle. That's where two usually famous people, famous winemakers, actors, whatever, get together and share one of their favorite bottles of wine and discuss that. It just goes on. And if you're into wine, there's no better way to learn more, just to watch some great entertainment. They also have a whole movie library in there as well that you can go. So like Bottle Shock is in there. And anyway, check it out. That's over at sommtv.com, SOMMTV.com. And be sure to use that code to make sure that you get your 50% off your monthly subscription. With that, let's continue on with the news. This was kind of an interesting one. So Wine Enthusiast put out their top 100 list. You've had Wine Spectators put out theirs. Now Wine Enthusiast. Kind of an all over the map. When you go all the way down, the number one wine is a sparkling rosé out of Oregon, the Rocco 2013 RMS Brut Delayed Disgorgement 10-year sparkling. It's got 98 points. It's $110. That's a lot. It must be special. But I mean, if it's 10 years of, they're aging it for 10 years, I guess, in bottle, that's the delayed disgorgement. They had to sit on it a long time, so they want to get their money. But they rated that their number one wine of the year. But it's kind of all over. So they had Epic Vineyards, which is one who we have covered. It's up in Paso. We love it. We've been up there, met the winemaker. Their 2021 Veracity Red, they gave it 99 points, and that's at $75. That's kind of a bargain if it's a 99-point wine. But we rated their wines really highly as well. So you scroll through this list, you're bound to find something in your price point that might be worth a look. I don't know how a 99-point wine finishes number 4, where the 98-point wine finishes number 1, but that's what they did. But we're taking a look at the Wine Enthusiast best wines of 2024. Probably going to be the last wine list we talk about as we wrap up the year. There have been a lot of them, but that'll be it. And then over at Harper's, I'm jumping all over with the wine news this week. Forbes, Harper's, places we don't normally go. Tim Atkin, who is a master of wine, asked, can you taste terroir? What is terroir? Well, it's a French word that doesn't translate into English. I've had people tell me that the best translation is a sense of place. It's supposed to take in the earth and the rivers and the tree, every single aspect of the place. And can you taste that in a glass of wine? I contend that you must be able to, because I have watched blind tasters who are absolutely amazing go through and taste and go, oh, this is Southern Rem. I think it's Châteauneuf-du-Pape or wherever, or it's left bank, right bank. They're able to taste. How do they do that? They just taste so many wines over and over and over and over again that they get that sense. They can pick out those unique differences in the various regions and all of that. In fact, there was a great book written recently called The Sommelier's Atlas of Taste. And this was by Rajat Par and Jordan McKay. And if you don't know Rajat, he's just a famous winemaker, SOMM, everything. He's in a lot of the SOMM movies, by the way, if you get that subscription to SOMM TV. And, they're breaking down the regions, what you need to look for, how you can tell. And if you have not seen the movie SOMM, you'll see them kind of go through that as well. But, they're looking for subtle hints, little tiny tastes in there that tell them, oh, it's from this exact region, because only that soil, only this area produces that unique taste, that unique smell, whatever it is they're looking for. There's a master somm, his name's Fred Dom, who is supposedly has got or some people have photographic memories. He's got like a photographic nose. There's a name for it. I don't know what it is, but this guy He basically can just sniff a wine. They call it dominant. Gives it a sniff, can tell you what it is because he's got that kind of a memory, where it is, where it's from, the entire thing. So anyway, and in order for you to do that and to know a specific region and to know a specific producer, and sometimes these guys are so crazy, they can call the year, they can call the vintage on this wine. It's a lot of practice and a lot of memorization and kind of just taking the notes as to what you're looking for there. I found this to be a great article. This book, by the way, is amazing as well if you're into that. There are also some great kits you can buy where you can kind of go through the various smells, and it's got 80 different smells. That's going to help you with certain things as well. Anyway, check out the article over in Harper's. I found it interesting. I hope you do as well. And with that, let's get to our wine and winery of the week. I should be drinking a glass of wine, but it's early when I'm recording this. So here you go. It's a Cork and Journey coffee mug, soon available on the Cork and Journey website. Anyway, let's start off with the Gundlach Bundschu Winery in Sonoma, California. It is the oldest family-owned winery in Sonoma. It's been family-owned for over 6 generations. We went up there with some friends, did a super nice tour of it. We give the entire place an overall 5-star rating. We took the Pints excursion all over the place, saw the caves, drove all over the property. Wonderful tasting room. We did tastings all out through the vineyards and all over. And their wines are very good. If you're up in Sonoma, they're kind of off the beaten path, and a lot of people don't stop into this, and we're always looking for kind of those out-of-the-way places. Gundlach Bundschu, German, came over here a long time ago. This is their Cabernet Franc. It is outstanding. Anyway, head over to Sonoma and check out Gundlach Bundschu. And I think I'm close on that because we had a German with us and they told us, but it's like Gundlach Bundschu. Gundlach Bundschu. Anyway, it's one way to remember it. And for our wine of the week, we're going to go for the 2022 Hartford Cork Land's Edge Vineyards Pinot. And man, we were at a tasting dinner. We live in Vegas, so we were up at Resorts World International. They did a beautiful little wine tasting. SOMM was there, went through it all. And as a gift, we all got these beautiful gift bags. It had some Riedel glasses in it. It had a bottle of wine, had some other stuff. And the bottle of wine was this bottle of wine. And I don't think I would have picked it up or tried it. But we ended up rating this thing, I think, 93, 94 points, something like that, 93 points. And just outstanding bottle of wine at $40 a bottle. This is a beautiful Pinot. So give it a shot if you can find it. It's readily available too. That's the other thing. It's not like you can kind of find it anywhere. So I love it when you get a wine where it's like, oh, sorry, I like all these top 100 lists. Yeah, there's a great wine, but you won't be able to find it, So anyway, that's not the case with this one. So check out Hartford Cork's Land's Edge Vineyards Pinot Noir. And moving on to our restaurant and Corkage of the week. Well, let's travel. Let's travel not to Mexico. Let's keep going south, down to Cartagena, Colombia. And we will talk about Candé Restaurante. And this place, it's in Old Town, Cartagena, not the new big, beautiful city, but Cartagena in itself is just beautiful. Both parts of the city, old and new. Basically, authentic Colombian food, large selection of French seafood, dishes, stews, grilled meats. The ambiance is just absolutely amazing. We couldn't have been happier. Sat down with some friends, had an absolutely amazing dinner. It was kind of a lunch dinner kind of thing. Just absolutely loved it. And then if you get a chance, I would highly recommend if you go on a cruise, you're going to Cartagena, don't do an excursion. Just get off the boat and walk to Old Town, and away you go. You can even take a taxi over there. They'll drop you off. Actually, you do. You get out, take a little taxi, takes you over to Old Town, walk around. Wonderful restaurants, wonderful shops, lots to see, lots to do, and be sure to check out Candé. It was a fantastic experience, and they do have a corkage fee. So if you're bringing your own wine, it's $45 a bottle, 2-bottle max. Kind of pricey, but it's a nice restaurant. Their wine prices weren't that bad either. So It's up to you. Roll your own on that. All right, well, that's going to wrap up another edition of This Week Uncorked. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us. And as always, please subscribe to us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us everywhere you can. And we got one more episode coming in 2024. Until then, we'll see you next week. Cheers.